I wonder though what the wealth distribution is like, so probably it would be best for you to give us an overview of the GDP of Vietnam, GDP growth rate, inflation rate from 2005 to date, and probably a forecast up to 2020.
For those of you watching at home or at work, forecasting is like throwing darts in Vietnam, so it's actually a very difficult thing to do. But having said that, Vietnam has had the third fastest GDP growth rate in all of Asia. Just in the last 4 or 5 years, incomes have doubled in Vietnam. That's almost unheard of. Mind you, we're coming from a very small base, but just even without using research figures, my salary costs for a white-collar service operation have doubled in 5 years. But then again, our business has also doubled in 5 years, so it's all quite relative. The one big problem that Vietnam faces is trying to curb inflation. Yeah. Historically, inflation has been anywhere from sort of 3 to 8% here over the last 5, 6 years. However, in 2008, it reached 23%.
23%?
Yeah. And that was largely due to speculation in the market. People were actually going to the bank, borrowing money to play on the stock market, things like this. So it was a crazy year. We recently did a survey and took all the various figures from The Economist and the World Bank and so on and so forth and did some calculations. And there's a new top 6. We've all heard of BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China. Well, there's now a next top 6, and that's called CIVET. So that stands for Colombia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Egypt, Turkey, and South Africa. These economies have been selected as the emerging economies for a lot of the reasons that we've already sort of started to discuss. So what I did, we took a look at growth rates up to 2020. And for example, at present, the average individual in China on an annual basis is doing about $6,000 as an income level. Okay, by 2020, that looks to double to 12,700. Vietnam seems to have the second highest growth of those countries, where today we're looking at 2,800 as an annual income and going up to 4,600. And then that's followed by Indonesia and India. So that's quite a surprising number, if you will. But again, when I see the growth that Vietnam has experienced just in the last 5 to 10 years, it would not shock me if those numbers actually become reality up to 2020.
2020 is actually another 10 years from now, and the growth, according to our guest speaker here, would be phenomenal as well in Vietnam. So how do you see that affecting the growth of income in Vietnam?
We are actually already, in urban Vietnam, you already have 37% of the population that can afford what most other people can anywhere else in the world, which is quite a significant figure. So the middle class is what I believe will actually push and drive Vietnam, not the upper class, not the luxury. It's that midsection, because that's where you're going to get the bulk of your spend coming from. So that's really where I see the future.
5 years ago, the most desired items for an average Vietnamese consumer in urban areas are still very much basic. And by that it means rice cooker, color TV, gas cooker, telephone and fridge. 5 years later, all the basic needs are fully recovered, and we see the needs for ownership upgrade move to new and high-tech items such as DVD, washing machine, personal computer, aircon and microwave. Together with that emerge a series of electrical retailers across the country. To service the emerging middle class and the upper classes, with 30% disposable income, of which only 50% is for saving, branded products are also started making their entry into the market. You can easily spot such brands as Gucci, LV, Burberry, Virtu along the glamorous shopping streets in the 2 megacities of the country. Increase in disposable income has certainly fueled growing domestic consumption. Another reason, however, that most research data won't reveal is the psychological factor. For a long time, Vietnamese consumers were deprived of the luxury of shopping for anything beyond their basic needs due to the difficult economic condition of the country in the post-war period. Back then, all disposable income goes to saving for a rainy day and the future generation. As such, the consumer market was a price-sensitive and functional-driven market. Nowadays, with money to spend after having saved what is required and with confidence in the future economy of the country, it is pure joy and satisfaction for people to start looking beyond the basic needs.